Hi, I'm Will.
And I'm Risa, and this is Talent Talk.
On today's show, we have Billboard charting once in a generation singer-songwriter Emily West. But before we get to our interview with her,
take a sneak peek at her latest single, Out of Sight, Out of Mind.
The doctor he gave me pills to move on. Whenever I take one, I forget you're gone, and I stare out the window. I'm feeling fine, out of sight, out of mind. I got a habit, I'm hooked on your lies. I believe every word when I look in your eyes, and I follow your footsteps, the blind leading the blind. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. My mama told me, go follow your heart. I heard the beating, got lost in the dark. Oh, and I followed it down. My love, where are you now? My love, you let me down. Oh, where are you now?
well, hello, Emily, and welcome to Talent Talk.
Thank you for having me, Will. I'm happy to be here.
Well,
Hi, Risa.
Risa and I are so excited to have you here, and the audience just got a little sneak peek of your song, Out of Sight, Out of Mind. And to kick things off, we want to know, where did the idea of that song come from for you?
It's funny you should ask that question. I was playing the guitar in this beautiful home that wasn't mine, and I started singing the melody, and I don't play the guitar that much, but I started singing kind of like this doo-wop progression, and then it just kind of fell out of the sky. And I wrote it with my friend Leroy Powell and Tim Jones, and we made a record, and I'm really proud of it. It's going to be released in the fall. So,
So excited.
yeah.
I love it. Risa, I know you have a question for Emily right off the bat.
Sure, millions of questions. Emily, meeting you, you're probably the first person that gave my heart such an emotional response every time you sing. I know when anyone hears you sing, I say people just lean forward they just have to lean forward. So my question is, who growing up did you fall in love with that you wanted to sing like, or did you always have this gorgeous gift? Or please tell me.
Well, I cut my teeth on the Annie soundtrack. When I was a little girl, I would just dance with my sister in the living room. So there was a lot of music in the house. We couldn't listen to pop music until like I was 13, and I saw Billy Joel on MTV with Fire, and I'm like, no wonder we can't listen to pop music. It's hell. Anyway, then I got over that. I started, I was obsessed with Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland. Patsy Cline is the reason I sing. And then I kind of just welded into the voice that I have. And I think it's so incredible to just take from what you love and then, see what comes out. I had to really find my sweet spot. When I moved to Nashville, I was like, well, what is my voice? Because I sang like this a lot, like in the back of my throat. And someone said, so when are we going to get the hamburger out of your throat? So, you find your style as you go. And I picked from Barbara and Patsy.
When did you move to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville when I was 18.
Okay.
And just kind of learned it as I went.
I love it. Emily, so here's this girl listening to Andrea McCardle in Annie, the original soundtrack, in Waterloo, Iowa, and then cutting your teeth on listening to all of these great singers. And obviously, as you just said, you moved to Nashville shortly after high school. And from there, you landed a few record deals. The audience from all over the country and all over the world, frankly, really got to know you in 2014 on America's Got Talent. And that's where I was introduced to you.
Oh,
And one of the main songs, obviously, that you became very well known for was making an original, singular, theatrical moment with Sia's Chandelier. I had not heard Chandelier until I heard you sing it. I was like, this girl can sing and she can write. But you know, it's interesting when you mention all of the singers that you grew up listening to, because I can see the Judy, I can see the Barbara and the Patsy, but you were able to, through your craft and your studies, and I guess also just truly finding your voice, finding Emily. I'm curious to know, with all the success that you've had thus far, what is it for you in terms of moving forward that you're most excited about in terms of not only the music you put out, but the voice that continues to grow and develop out into the world?
That's an incredible question. Thank you for asking me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Academy of Risa. By the way, I would have never been on America's Got Talent if it weren't for this angel sitting amongst.
Oh God.
Wait, I did not know this.
Oh my gosh, Will, you have to know the story. So the secret of my whole success is
exclusive.
Because she saw me at the Bluebird, and I think I was with, I was doing a round, and we became friends, and she lived in New York, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying to go to New York. I had this beautiful dream of moving to New York, completely intimidated. But she said, I have an apartment. You should move here. So I ended up doing some sort of show for the Beatles' 50th anniversary.
That's amazing.
She just said, you need to move here. You can stay in my apartment, get a job, whatever, you know, just, and so I got a job the next day working as a shop girl. And I just, you know, but I auditioned because I was living in New York. And if it weren't for Risa saying, you know, pushing me to move to New York, I would have never done it. And, you know, she gave me a place to stay. I mean, she made my dream come true. So,
oh my gosh.
Well, that's Risa for you. She's an angel, and she's a star. And
what I should say, like, when I first heard Emily sing, we were in a round. My first time I ever sung at the Bluebird, Emily sang. We were in a round with Lori White and Beth Nielsen Chapman, and it was my first time sitting in that round. I was so nervous, and then I heard Emily sing, and everything stopped when I heard her voice, and I was like, oh, she needs to be in New York, like immediately. And so I wanted to be her friend. It was like such like a high school moment.
It was a divine appointment. It was a divine appointment, and I'm just so grateful for that, because if it weren't for you, it wouldn't have happened. I really believe that. So
unbelievable.
To answer your question, I think the world right now really just, there's a lot of different musical gifts that people have. And I think with the technology that we have, I think anybody can make a record. I just really want to make people smile. That's it, or feel, you know, I think when you don't know, when you're waking up sad and you really don't know what to do, and you can put on some music. I think music is a language that so many people go to when they are feeling sad or alone or happy. You know, there's just all the elements. So my goal in life is to make people feel with words that they can't say, and so they can get through their day. And I don't know if that is cheesy or a pageant answer, but I definitely think that I was put on this planet to sing and to, you know, make people smile and connect people. You know,
that's amazing. I mean,
we've had whole conversations about how we believe music is therapy. How do you feel about that, Emily?
Well, the record that I'm releasing is Dear Diary. I'm sorry, I stuttered through that word. And it is from my journal. So I would write down, I mean, these poems that I would be like, what does this mean? And then Leroy and Tim were like, that's brilliant. I'm like, okay. So I do think it's a therapy. It's definitely like journaling is complete free therapy. So I'm grateful. But then when you put a melody to it and slow the language down, that's the fluid of it. And that's the thing that is important. And I'm excited I get to sing, you know.
Well, two words that you both brought up, you know, the therapy, music is therapy, and music is transcendent. It's a universal language that has been around for thousands upon thousands of years. But Emily, in addition to your creative talent and the risk and the courage that you take to lean into the vulnerable as you are and going inside of your journal entry, we're going into your heart, we're going into your soul, we're going into your bone marrow, we're going into your hopes, we're going into your dreams, but we're also going into your fears. And on top of all of that, Emily, you were born with a gift to sing. You were born with a once in a generation talent of a voice that is singular. I can, you know, America's Got Talent was one thing, but as a director, closing my eyes and thinking of that voice, you know, you've obviously not only done the work on your craft, but you've done the work on yourself to release, as you said, the hamburger in your throat that a lot of people are afraid to do in their life. You investigated the superfluous,
yeah,
to find the path of least resistance to your voice. And I'm curious to know, in a time that we've just been through, if your North Star has shifted, and was it the pandemic that made you think even more clearly, like you just said, I just want to make people smile? Like, you have such a clear North Star, and I'm curious how you got to that place, about why you do what you do.
Well, I think there's a lot of rubbish out there. You know, we live in a world where you can post something and it can ruin your day, or it can, you know, I do feel like when you can get your ego out of the way, that's when the magic happens. I do think that being, you know, yourself can free other people to be themselves. And, you know, I wrote Out of Sight, Out of Mind, actually, because I was addicted to pills, and I ended up getting sober through the pandemic. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much. September 28th is my sobriety date, and I'm really happy about it. And, you know, if you don't tell your story, you know, I was craving to hear someone else's story with addiction, and not just, you know, drinking, or, I mean, it was a specific thing. I was just like kind of confused at it, but I was craving someone else's story because I wanted to see it. So if I don't share my story, then maybe it won't help anyone. So I'm all about confessing about my addictions and, you know, writing about it and talking about it. So I don't know if I answered your question.
You sure did.
Okay. You did.
This is kind of like therapy for me, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Me too.
When Risa and I decided to put the show together, we not only wanted to bring on fabulous once in a generation artists like yourself. That's my turn to time to stutter. See, and see, I'm not going to edit it out because this is called the unapologetic episode. But Risa and I wanted to create a safe space for human beings who put their talents and lives on the line every day to get out what they need to get out for others. And that's what you do. Okay, off my soapbox.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Well, you know, I wanted to ask this question too, because our bands or musicians we meet, they become our family, our chosen family. And I just want to know I never asked you how you met the Whiskey Wolves of the West and how that whole thing happened.
Wonderful question. So I was doing this tribute, this Harry Nilsson tribute, and I met Tim Jones and rekindled my relationship with Leroy Powell. His wife was there and just heard me sing Without You, which is a Harry Nilsson song. He didn't write it, but we don't need to say that. And I sang that, and she said, Leroy, you need to make a record on her. And she just is a very spiritual person, and she just kind of can see the future. And we ended up writing songs with Tim Jones, who was just, bark. What are you barking at?
You bark to the truth. You're barking.
Yeah, she's barking. That's right. So we started writing songs after that night. So Harry Nilsson, thank you so much for connecting us. And that's how we met. But I was doing a lot of the cabaret shows. I was doing a lot of like karaoke, like the piano thing. And I was like, I really want more of a band sound. So I got my wish, and one of the most incredible bands I've ever sung.
I mean, I should say you were my first show back. I went to see you at the Franklin Theater, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. And when the curtain rose, it was the first time I'd been in a theater, the sounds of people like talking and opening up their candy and things like that. I was like, I missed this. And then you started to sing. And at the end, when you went, we're back. And I was like, we're back. And you just brought me back. And I was like crying. It was amazing. Okay.
Oh, thank you. I know we are back. We are back. And just it's so funny when you take something away, all the things that we miss, the details of sound and just connection. And that was such a magical night. I'm so happy that you were there, Risa. It was just...
Well, Risa, you mentioned, it brought you back. I've never had the opportunity yet to see you live, but when I do see and hear you, Emily, you bring me back to an era of show business that many think is long gone. You seem to combine an elegant brassiness with the silhouette of, I don't want to say femme fatale, but you have an unapologetic, beautiful way about you on the stage, but yet again, it's elegant, brassy, and 21st century you. And again, the director, selfish director in me, theater director, I'm curious to know if you've ever thought about putting together a show for New York, a theatrical show.
This has to happen.
My love, just absolute everything that you're saying. Yes, I actually, before the pandemic happened, I was going to New York to do my one-woman show at 54 Below. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, that's still a dream of mine. So it's funny that you should say that.
Will, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. Sorry, go ahead, Will.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, about 54 Below?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, I mean, well, Michael Feinstein is a very good friend of mine. I was married in 54 Below. The people there are like family to me. As a director, I've had, before like I ended up, directing in theaters, 54 Below was like my incubator. They're like family to me. And the owners actually, Richard Frankel and his producing team, are actually how Risa and I met all those years ago. 15 years ago, Risa was a receptionist and I was an intern. And so that's how that began. So I think it is all in the stars for you to headline there. And if you ever need any help getting in touch with them, well, Risa knows this. I mean, I have a direct line, obviously, and you have New York needs Emily West. There's no one else like you in the world, but in New York. So anyway,
wow.
And off my soapbox again.
Please stay on the soapbox if that's
the more you know.
The more you know. Oh, wow. I'm loving all this. Wow. 54 Below, the people. I love that. Well, so that is a dream of mine, is to make a one-woman show about my life and just kind of this, the songs and the bringing in the hamburger and then finding the voice and all that stuff. But
well, I think it's a story that's transcendent. Again, even for singers, we all have had the hamburger in our voice. We've all had the noise from people thinking that we needed to be something that we were not. And until we released it, then we could actually become our true bliss. And that's what you've done. And it's inspiring.
I think the reason why I had the hamburger in my throat is because I was this growing woman. I used to be the little girl with the big voice, and I was becoming this adult in town. And I was afraid I was losing the big voice. So I was like compensating it. But then, when I started writing these true lyrics and I started saying the song instead of singing the song.
Oh, amen.
I think we can over sing sometimes. And as a singer, I just want to hear the story, even just as a singer, I want singers to tell me the story a little bit more than just talking sexy or how, I know your talent, I know you can sing, but tell me the story.
Well, you went from being a caricature or what you thought people wanted to hear from you. And you just became, and speaking of a caricature that I just want to draw, your little pup, I just want a little caricature.
This is Patsy. She's 8 I just got her. She's the love of my life.
Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. Say hi now.
Oh my goodness. Oh, at the baby.
Emily, come on. This is
What?
one of my favorite parts of Talent Talk. Are you ready for game time?
I am 100% ready. I think I'm ready. I don't want to be too confident, but I'm gonna try. I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Well, Emily, lucky for you, we today are premiering our brand new game.
Sing it, guess it.
Okay.
Well, put that sock blindfold on. Here's how we play. It's super easy. Emily, I'm going to show you 3 pictures. We'll start with the first one. You'll see what it is, and you're going to kind of make up a song about it without saying the actual word of it. And Will has to guess what the picture is. Okay, are you ready for picture number 1?
I think I'm
Wait,
ready.
and I have 30 seconds to guess all 3, so we have to go really fast, right?
Oh, 30 seconds. Well, 30 seconds for each one. Let's just start
That's so
there.
nice of you. Thank you.
Well,
that way we can get a song in, you know what I mean? So we can
God
actually
bless.
understand parts of it. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the first one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I take it a little dark
Coffee.
in the morning. Yes.
Okay.
I'm very competitive. I watch the Game Show Network $100,000 Pyramid like 24/7.
Here's picture 2. Can you see?
All right. You tore up my socks and you ruined my shoes. You
Dog.
got little. You're a baby. You
Puppy.
hardly know. Yep.
Woo!
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
last one.
Okay. Valentine's Day chocolates and something else I cannot say, but I'll put them in water anyway. I'm gonna call the gardener because the gardener planted something so
Roses!
beautiful. Yes. There you got it. You got
Yay!
it. Yay!
Well, Emily, because I guessed all of the songs correctly, well, not all of the songs, but all of the beautiful images based upon your beautiful voice giving me clues, you have won a $20 gift certificate to your favorite coffee shop in Nashville. And please remind the audience, this is not a paid endorsement, where that coffee shop and what that coffee shop is.
It's called Stay Golden in Berry Hill in Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm
So
so
good.
excited. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Can't wait
Well,
to
Emily,
talk
you'll
that.
be taking Risa, and hopefully I will be buying you your own coffee when I get to come to
1,000%.
Nashville and visit.
Emily, I love you. And would you do us the honor of singing us out while we just dance with joy that you are on Talent Talk and you blessed us today with your gorgeous voice?
100%, and it's a sad ballad, but go ahead and dance away.
We
to
will.
it.
I love a
interpretive dance.
dichotomy. We will
Okay.
interpretive dance the sad ballad.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Here we go. It
We'll
goes
jam
like
out.
this.
Okay.
Goes. I'm sick of boys letting me down, telling me lies and messing around. I'm smart and I'm pretty, one drink and I'm witty. Why do lovers leave when they do? Let's start with you. What made you go? Give me a clue, 'cause I'm thinking maybe touching me, baby, was all that kept you here until
Oh my
sleep right
goodness.
now. She just put my puppy to sleep. She's laying on the chair.
Emily West, your puppy's asleep.
Goosebumps.
I have chills. Risa has chills. You are not only a star, an incredible human, an incredible talent. Week after week, Risa introduces me to such amazing talent. And Emily, my goodness, I cannot wait to meet you in person, work with you, and I'm
Are you
so happy.
Will, I'm crying. Are you crying? Because I'm
Do you
crying.
see?
Yeah, I know you're
You
crying.
see?
I know you are. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
I'm trying to not make this about me for once, as my husband would say. I wish I heard that song in 2009 when I had a few awful men in my
Oh.
life. But
Mhm.
Emily, you're the best. Thank you so much for joining Risa and me today on Talent Talk, and I can't wait to talk with you soon. Both of us can't
My
wait.
heart is so full. Thank you. Thanks for having me.